Hey everybody, it's Vanessa, the Crafty Gemini, and welcome to episode number 152 of WIP Wednesday. Today is the day that a bunch of you have been waiting for. If you follow me on social media and read my email newsletters, you know that we are finally ready to launch my latest online bag club. This is going to be the 4th edition of my mini bag clubs. If you've been around for over a decade or so, you know that I have a ton of different bag clubs in general, and usually those bag clubs feature larger size bags. My mini bag clubs, we tend to shrink down the size a little bit, meaning they're great scrap busters, and my students usually will crank out a couple dozen, 5 or 7, right, for gifts. And so towards the end of the year, I like to do a mini bag club. And so these new bags, I'm going to finally be revealing them to you in a second. So first, let's make sure that technology is working. If you can see me and hear me, let me know in the chat box below where you are tuning in from. I'm coming to y'all from my home crafting studio here in North Central Florida. And I see that we have a bunch of friends already logged on since this is a live show. Hi, Carol, tuning in from Maryland. We got Martine from Quebec. Janice from Glenside, PA. We got Pamela in the house from Coastal Virginia. Hi, Barbara from Orange Park. Mary from Sugarland, Texas. Okay, cool. We got a bunch of friends. Margie says, cute shirt. Thanks, Margie. I made this one, I want to say maybe 2 years ago. For one of my little Halloween rebounding boot workouts, the instructor in the classes that I go to, she tends to do themed ones. So I think this was from a Halloween a couple years back. And you see my earrings. My little ghost earrings that I made on my We Create Vista, the 10-watt laser that I have. I have a video tutorial on how to make these wooden earrings as well. And then I painted them with acrylic paint markers. I wanted to wear my spooky ghost today. All right, we got Pamela in the house from California. Wow, we got a bunch of friends on. Hi, everybody. Hi. I know a bunch of you have already signed up for the club. Hi, Laura, tuning in from Maryland. We got Jane from Orlando, which is south of us, and Michelle, another Florida neighbor. Hi, Zena. That's a local neighbor to me. Great. Hi, Miss Ethel. Okay, good. Hi, Brenda, tuning in from Perth, Scotland. Awesome. Okay. We're going to get started. So I'm going to go over the supplies that you'll probably want to gather up if you're going to be partaking in this mini bag club number 4. But first, what everybody wants to know is what the bags look like. So I'm going to not quickly. Let me stop lying. I'm going to try to swiftly show you all 5 bags, and then we'll go in and kind of break them all down, and I'll go through the supply list. So real quick, if you are not familiar with my bag clubs, first of all, to sign up and take advantage of the early bird sale price, there's a link in the description box below. If you're watching this video on YouTube, the link is in the description. And if you're watching on Facebook, it's in the caption, okay? It's over on our website that you can sign up at craftygemini.com/shop. If you've already signed up, because those of you that got my email earlier, some of y'all already signed up. So if you have signed up, go ahead and let us know in the chat. And if you're a returning student to my clubs, maybe go ahead and share some of your experience and maybe why you're signing up for this club, because I know we always get some new students who maybe are not familiar with any of my online courses and they might be feeling a little lost. So it helps to know that other people have gone through it as well and are signing up for the club. Hi, Lisette. Awesome. Okay, so first things first, this club is going to run for just under 6 weeks, okay? So we will be done just before Christmas time. But again, the video lessons never expire. So I know some of my students are signing up and they won't revisit it and go, actually watch the videos until the new year. That's totally fine. With all my classes and clubs, once you sign up once, you have unlimited access to the content. So I have students that are going back to their videos from 2014, 2015, and still accessing them because they have unlimited access, okay? So you can also do that. Whoop. Oh, weird. It's plugged up though. I'm not sure why. Okay. Let me keep going. Thank you, Chris. She says the best clubs. Thank you. All right. So first things first, there is a club calendar that you can print out. There's 2 pages, and you can check that out so that you know on which date and what time each of the 5 video courses will be posted. Then each of the video courses comes with a live question and answer session. The idea is you watch the video lessons, maybe you give it a go with some scrap fabric, just to kind of walk through and go through the whole project. And then you can submit your questions for me to answer live in the live Q&A. If you cannot attend any of the live sessions, it's no big deal. They're always recorded, and then we post the replays inside the club platform so that the students that couldn't make it live, because I know the time zone affects different people. You know, some of you, it's the middle of the night when I go live, and so you can always log back in and watch the replay, okay? We also have a master supply list. This is supplies for all the bags. It looks like a lot, but we're gonna go through it after I go through the bags, and you can see that I designed these bags, one, obviously to be functional because I'm a huge fan of functional projects. Two, so that they're mini, smaller in size. We don't always need a huge, big old tote when we leave the house. And so I designed these with specific needs that I needed and things that I think a lot of you will need that will help you, right? When you need a different size little bag. Also for the holidays, I think several of these actually would make great gifts that aren't, you know, too involved and don't require too much from your part in terms of materials and supplies, okay? So let's go ahead and start with the first one. So the first one I'm calling the Bella Buddy bag. This little bag, actually, this strap, I designed it so that it could be unhooked and looped over a larger handle of a big tote if you need to, you know, hang something a little bit smaller on it. Also for kids' backpacks, a gym backpack, a dance backpack, a sport backpack. If they need to separate something, they can put it in this little pouch, okay? Zip it up, and then you can clip it around something else so that it stays secure, but it's its own separate little bag. And then once I made it, I was like, this is actually the cutest little size for a little girl to have a little purse, or a big girl like me to make it out of some nighttime, you know, like evening wear fabrics. And this could totally be a little purse to wear out with a dress, to a nice dinner out. As we know, there's a lot of popular clutch purses. Clutches are cool, but sometimes I feel like having the loop of the clutch, it's like, it's not enough that it's just, say, on your wrist. I feel like I also have to hold the bag itself, and that can become a little bit of an annoying. So I thought, you know what, this would be awesome just to hold by the handle itself and not have it be on your wrist and kind of off to where you feel like you have to hold it. Does that make sense? It's one of those bags that I designed it with a little function in mind, and then when it turned out, I was like, you know what, this is actually, I could totally hold this. And you just have to think about obviously using fabrics that would go for whatever the event is, right? So this is the first one. This is the Bella Buddy bag, a little buddy bag, like a buddy for another bag that you can clip onto, okay? So that's the first one. And I'm going to go in order of how I'm going to teach them. So if you see this and you're thinking, I'm kind of a beginner, I don't really sew too much, you could totally make this. And I feel like after you watch these video lessons on how to make the Bella Buddy bag, you will feel a little bit more confident to tackle the next bags as they come, okay? So I always start off with teaching what I consider to be the easiest one, and then we work our way up. So the second one is going to be my Hideaway Pack. Okay, this is like a sling. You can wear it crossbody or you can wear it around your waist. Now, let's go ahead and give them the over-the-shoulder camera shot because I want to go deep dive into this one. It's not, huh? Let me see what's going on with this camera. Yeah, I plugged it back in. It's not working, huh? No? Okay, well, I'm going to show y'all like this. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that one. Okay. So this is the front, and I quilted it just to not keep it plain, but say you're making these for a bunch of gifts. If a bunch of family members maybe are going on a cruise or you're traveling or something and you want to make them for everybody, check this out. This is the front, quilted. This is the back, just plain fabric. It can be quilted. It doesn't have to be quilted, okay? But there is another zipper on the back. A small little zipper for you to keep your ID, some cash, something closer to your body. Now, you might notice how flat it is. I did not put in a gusset or any darts or anything in this design because the way I designed it, as the name kind of hints at, the Hideaway Pack is for when you're traveling and you want to keep your very important documents right up against your body. This underneath your clothes, like underneath my t-shirt, is super slim. Like nobody would even know that it's there. And you can have all your important stuff, keep you safe, you know, in some more urban areas or, you know, somewhere that you've never been before. If you're not feeling too confident having a purse out, you can totally wear this one under your clothes. You have a t-shirt, a jacket on top, whatever, and you have a little zip pocket on the back. So, of course, for those of you that are maybe newer to bags, you're going to learn how to install two different types of zipper applications, okay? So we have the zipper pocket on the back side here. This guy, and it's fully lined, okay? And the same thing for the inside a larger zipper pocket. So this one uses 2 different zippers, and then they're just connected with these tabs on the end and some webbing. Okay, you can attach a buckle if you want to be able to wear it maybe crossbody on the outside and like unclip it. But the idea for this one is that I can just loosen it and slide it up to be crossbody, or slide it down and cinch it up if I want to wear it flat on my waist. Okay, or on my hips, I should say. Awesome. Hi, Linda. She says, I'm all signed up. Thank you. She says, longtime crafty Gemini girly. These are good for personal security. Exactly. Okay, so not too big, but big enough. Okay, you can still fit in here your passport, your phone, your ID, your cards, your cash, right? And it still sits super flat. So I'm really happy with the way this one turned out. I had quite a few prototypes I was working on to try and get it to just how I wanted it. So this is bag number 2, the Hideaway Pack. The next one is my Stash and Go mini tote. This one, I think it's important for y'all to see like this, like on my body next to my face and my body. It looks like it would be a big tote, but it's a mini one, okay? A super mini tote. And I actually whipped this one up in no time because I used pre-quilted fabric. So in the course, I will share with you tips on how to make it out of pre-quilted fabric, which is not that easy to find, but I'm going to have some for sale here shortly. So if you're signing up, note that I will be sending y'all an email just to the registered students, right? So that y'all can get first dibs on, it's not this print, it's prettier than this. This was just like my sample. Pre-quilted fabric that has fabric on both sides and it's already quilted. But in the course, I'm going to walk you through how to quilt the fabric yourself. Okay, so you get the same effect of that texture and the quilting, and this is great because you don't really need to have any type of specialty fusible fleece or whatever. You can just use plain old quilt batting. It doesn't matter if it's cotton or polyester or a blend, it doesn't matter. So super, it's funny because as I was working out the proportions, I was like, it's little, but then I'm like, but it holds a good amount. So when you just need to grab a little tote with a few essential items, this is it, okay? So my Stash and Go mini tote has one pocket here and another little slip-in pocket here, okay? And then it does have a little closure. I just put one magnetic snap on top, okay? Oh, yay, we're back in business. Perfect, thank you. So you can see that the lining fabric of that pre-quilted fabric is this lighter color, okay? But you're gonna choose whatever fabric you want if you're not working with a pre-quilted fabric, right? The seams on the inside, because I use fabric that was already pre-quilted, are finished off with fold-over elastic. I know some of you are not fans of fold-over elastic from the last club, but these are straight seams. Even the bottom is straight, it's a rectangle. Straight, straight, straight. So they're not really tight, small spaces. And when I tell you I bound this thing in, am I back on? Can y'all see me now? Did we unfreeze? Okay. I think we're unfrozen now. I'll wait till somebody shows me something. Yes. Okay, great. Hi, Pam. Thanks for tuning in. Okay, so I was saying if you use pre-quilted fabric and webbing, you're saving yourself a ton of time. You'll be able to make it in just a couple, let me stop saying, not a couple minutes, but in way less time than if you had to quilt it and make the straps and handles from fabric, right, from scratch. So webbing, super cute, pre-quilted fabric, but you can quilt it yourself is how I'm going to teach it. Just because I use sometimes specialty items, I want to make sure that this is known for those of you that are new to my classes and clubs. Just because you see me use some specialty items doesn't mean that I require you to use those. Unless it's like a specific hardware that I call for, like you have to use it. When it comes to the materials and the fabric, pre-quilted, fusible fleece, whatever, oftentimes I will share with you different tips so that you have some options, okay? Because you don't have to go out and just buy $30 a yard pre-quilted fabric just to make this bag. Does that make sense? I'm gonna show you how to take regular cotton fabric, quilt it to still make the same bag. But for those of you that have a large fabric stash, or you know that you love to buy new things and try them out, so you're learning different things with different materials, then absolutely feel free to go ahead and get the pre-quilted stuff, okay? All right, Winless Original says, no matter the bag now, I use ready-made straps. I feel you, girl. You'd save a ton of time for sure. So again, the 2 little pockets on the outside and then just one big compartment right here. I did go ahead and use a magnetic snap closure, okay? If you don't have magnetic snap closures, first of all, I will say on the master supply list, I do include links on where you can find the materials. But you can also just use like hook and loop tape in this one. And when we get to bag number 5, I'll show you what I mean by that. But a cute little magnetic snap here. One thing I wanted to share was if you made this and quilted it yourself with just cotton fabric and used something like the polytherm fleece, this insulated fleece that we sell in our online shop, this could be your lunch tote. Insulated lunch tote. And instead of maybe one magnetic snap, maybe I would do a couple strips of hook and loop tape just so that you get a more sealed up finish up top here to avoid, you know, the temperature and stuff just seeping out of an open tote. But you could absolutely do that. Imagine if you meal prepped your stuff. I mean, you could fit a ton in here. And I think it's just so cute to have this type of a shape to what you would normally find in a huge tote, but I sized down the proportions to make a little mini tote. Okay, the bottom is not boxed corners. Okay, we're leveling people up a little bit now. If you've been making zipper pouches for a long time, you know you just box the corners. This has an inset panel, and if you take my classes in clubs, you know that we like to do different types of bottoms on the different bags so that you elevate your skills. Everything else straight seams, easy peasy, but I do like to add a little element of challenge, if you will, to help you guys grow, right? To get better so you can tackle even more complex projects as you go on with your sewing journey. So I thought this was super cute. Stash and Go mini tote. That's bag number 3. Bag number 4. Here we go. Do y'all recall last week? Was it last week or the week before? Yeah, last week I think. I shared a video of when I was quilting this fabric on my long arm. I was doing all these swirls. And I wanted to show y'all this because this is a mini barrel bag, the Skye mini barrel. Next to me here, you can see how mini it is. And oftentimes when we have barrel bags like this, you see them be like larger and bigger. I have a bag that's similar to this one called the Raina. Yeah, the Raina barrel bag, but it's huge. It's more like a carry-on that you take. So this little one, I was like, finally, I have a purse that has a little bit of bling, a little bit of color that I can take out, okay? Now, I added the D-rings on the side here because you will be able to do 2 things. Hold it like by the handles, okay? You can even make these rolled if you wanted to. I have big hands, so I tend to leave them flat, just as I made them from the fabric. But I put the hardware on the sides here because if I don't want to carry it like this, I can use it as a cross-body bag because it's not very big either, okay? But I'm looking for a chain that's like really evening wear-ish that would look cute with this, something with a nickel finish. So if anybody knows of a good source to find cross-body chain bags, let me know. Otherwise, I'll just have to make one out of the fabric and, you know, add the lobster clasp to the ends, and that way we can have it be cross-body and also handheld like this, okay? This is a pretty simple one to make, believe it or not. What's elevating it here is, one, obviously the free motion quilting, which you do not have to do. This could just be straight line quilting as well. And then the fabric, I use the soft vinyl from So Hungry Hippie. This is the fabric that I use for this with the quilting, okay? Let's go ahead and give them the over-the-shoulder camera shot so I can give them a shot of the inside too of the bag. Y'all, it's, I mean, look at those swirls. The texture that you get when you quilt soft vinyl on top of foam stabilizer. This is it. So you see the shape that this has, like the body. It's not going to be the same if you make it out of just cotton fabric. However, because we're using the foam, you will still get a gorgeous shape to it and some good structure. So the thicker the fabric you use to stitch through the foam, the stiffer the finished bag will be, okay? So this and this plus my freehand stitching on the long arm equals these panels. Okay, now if some of you dabble in free motion quilting or you want to try out some little designs, what I like about this bag is that it really puts your quilting on display and you don't have to quilt like a whole yard of it. So when we're making quilted panels for our bags, it can take a while depending on how big the bag is. And so what I wanted to do with this specific mini bag club number 4 is to show y'all different ways that you can quilt your fabric on a smaller scale and still use it to make the mini bags. These swirls, when I tell you, I mean, they look so good and they're not even perfect. I literally just freehanded. I was just like, doo-doo-doo. Some of them were bigger, some of them were smaller, some of the little lines I had to kind of tuck in between. It doesn't matter. And so it's just the texture is what we're going for, you know, no matter what the quilting ends up being. But look at that. I'm obsessed. This one is definitely going to be mine. Thank you. Hey, Dr. Susie. She says, cute. Thank you. Lisa says, that is stinking adorable. Can't wait to make this. This, isn't it cute? Because you get the shape like the barrel, but not huge, right? Just little. Oh, let me open it up. Here I have a number 5 handbag zipper, which is what I would recommend because the panels kind of taper off a little bit at the top. You don't want to go with a number 3 zipper and have this be even closer here. So I find that the number 5 works great for this. And I use zippers by the yard from So Hungry Hippie, this stuff. And we'll go over some of the supplies in a minute, okay? But inside, I use this gorgeous print from my friend Sarah Watts for Ruby Star Society fabric. This is from her Florida One collection. It came out, I think, back in 2020 or something. But I usually go with a light fabric for the lining, but I just went on the black and gray with the silver, the nickel finish stuff, and I went with this really pretty with sparkles of gold in that print. I love it. It's huge. I mean, when you make the mini bag, you're thinking, oh, it's a cute mini bag. But once you open it, I mean, you could fit a bunch of stuff in here. Like this is a phone, this is the passport, and it's like nothing. Like it's still completely empty. So I could put my big essentials wallet in here, my keys, some lip gloss. You could put a zippered pouch with some, you know, with anything inside of it. You could have a small, you know, like lotion, lip gloss, like whatever little extras you need, and it still wouldn't be full. So I'm just saying, this one is legit, and it's so, so cute. Oh yeah, so Windless Original says, can you put the phone inside the barrel bag so you can see the size? And I have, this is like an iPhone, I don't know, 14 Pro Max. You got plenty of space in here. It doesn't even, I mean, plenty, okay? And of course, there is a graphic on the club platform when you sign up that you can go inside and see what the finished measurements are of each. But I'll roughly go through this one because I know a lot of people are probably interested in this one. It measures 10 inches this way, okay, by 5.5 inches by 6. The size, obsessed. So, so cute. Okay. Margie says, you're unbelievable. I love your creativity. I'm excited to make this bag. I'm glad that you are. And I think a lot of you, if you give yourself a shot at this and practice some of just the plain quilting that I'm going to show you how to do, I think you will really surprise yourself with how it will elevate the bag because of the texture, okay? Quilting any fabric to a foam, it really compresses the foam in the areas of the stitching, okay? And then allows the areas that don't have stitching to really pop out. Amazing. Okay. Anyways, let's move on. We're going on to, oh, that was bag number 4. So bag number 5, this is my Scout Mini Satchel. And I have been working on, look how cute, another little size, but still you could put a ton in it. Essentials, you know, stuff at least. This is a little mini satchel. I'm calling it the the Scout Mini Satchel. It has a flap. The flap is just decorative. So think about your large scale prints, florals, things like that that you're afraid to cut into because you don't know what you want to use it for. This combo right here, obsessed. Something that plays like a solid, that's nice and dark, that won't show too much dirt, right, if it's getting all thrown around, and then with a pop of something for the flap. I think that really, really makes it stand out. The closure on this one is where I use the hook and loop tape. If you don't have a metal hardware, you're not going to go out and buy that stuff, but you have maybe sew-in, not the sticky back stuff, the sew-in hook and loop tape, this is a great spot to use it. You could also use the hook and loop tape, as I mentioned before, here instead of a magnetic snap for this one, especially if you wanted to make it insulated as a lunch, as a little mini lunch tote. I would definitely use the hook and loop tape so that you close up across the full top. That will really give you a nice closure on that Stash and Go mini tote, okay? But on this one, easy peasy, and that's easy to do. Anybody, zigzag stitch, you could even stitch it down straight stitch. Easy. And the links to all the materials and stuff are in the master supply list that you can download once you sign up for the club. There are links. I put, like, if it's on Amazon, I put my Amazon affiliate links. If we sell the item in our shop, I put the link to the item in the shop. That way, for those of you that are beginners, we don't assume that you know anything, okay? If you have a sewing machine and you have sewn some and you can sew straight, maybe you can thread your sewing machine, you know how to wind a new bobbin and replace it, I say come on down and join us for mini bag club number 4, because everything else beyond that, I walk you through, okay? I'm obsessed with this one. And believe it or not, this is the 5th bag. You know what that means, right? That this is the trickiest one to make of the whole batch. Here's a couple reasons why. The shape, love it. It's nice, a slim silhouette, but look at the bottom. There's a panel that I drafted to give you a little bit more room without making the bag thicker by adding like a whole panel going down the center gusset here. You know how we try to add more 3-dimensional room for some of our bags, and we'll add like a strip going around it as a gusset. Instead, I added the room here at the bottom. Okay, just a little bit more, so you have a little bit of width room here to pack a few more kind of chunkier items in there. But the rest of the bag is a really slim silhouette. We install, this is the trickiest part of the whole bag, is installing these D-ring tabs on the sides after the sides are sewn, okay? after working it out a couple times and making sure that I could sew it on a regular sewing machine, I finally figured it out and I thought, okay, this will be a good one to challenge them at the end, and I will show you exactly how you would do it on a regular sewing machine. Because if you have like an industrial one that's really slim and a narrow head, it's easier to kind of get in there with the bag. But the way that I do it on this one, I think you'll easily be, well, maybe not easily. You're gonna struggle a little bit just because it's in a tricky spot, but once you get these sewn in, boom. Okay? I have a slider here. This webbing, amazing. This is the seatbelt webbing, the 1-inch wide seatbelt webbing that I got from So Hungry Hippie. In the supply list, I do link to it in her shop where you can check it out. It's nice and flat, right? It's not like cotton webbing. So there's different types of webbing that we can use. And this type of stuff is great because as you partake in the mini bag club, you're going to be, you know, trying different things. Maybe you have some of this webbing and you make one bag with this webbing. And then maybe you want to go ahead and order some of the seatbelt webbing. It's nice and flat and it comes with a bunch of different designs. This is just the pinstripe black and white one. I thought that went cute with the floral. I was really happy with this one. Oh, when you open it up, sorry, the flap is just decorative. Remember I talked about that. Then the closure is one number 5 zipper. So you have a zipper pouch. And then inside there is one patch pocket. And I made the patch pocket long enough and down enough so you could fit your phone in and not have the phone sticking out like this. Okay? Ask me how I know that that was going to happen. I designed with my hands and my eyes, y'all, so I definitely go through a lot of fabric and a lot of interfacing. It's like, oh, a little patch pocket. Let me throw a pocket in there so I can put my phone. And the first prototype I did, it was like the phone was sticking out like this. I was like, yeah, that's not going to work. So I fixed it. The phone can sit in there, and that way you don't have to dig down to the bottom, especially because, I mean, it's still a good size, and the phone could fall in sideways here. Then you kind of have to be digging down. That way you can slip your phone right in that pocket, and it keeps it high enough that you don't have to dig in. You can catch it right here, pull it out, and then you still have room in there to put some other essential items. Isn't that cute? And I'll show you this without my heavy phone in there, but because of that bottom panel, it stands up on its own. We love a good bag that doesn't just flop over, right? Even when it's little, look at that. And that is all the engineering of that bottom panel. I used a Bosal light fusible batting for this. Or let me think. Yeah, Bosal light fusible batting. Fusible fleece would work great. This little bag, I would not use foam, okay? And this is going to come from experience. Those of you that are in have taken other classes and clubs, you would know. Because the smaller the bag, the puffier the interfacing or stabilizer you use, the smaller the room is you're going to have in here. So a lot of these bags will lend themselves nicely to different materials, and that's what I mean by, like, if you just have plain old quilt batting, you can absolutely use that to make all these bags, quilted or not, okay? If it's not quilted, you're definitely going to want to, you know, do some type of stitching throughout it, or maybe use some type of an adhesive to keep it together. But if we're using plain batting, okay, and now let me just do a quick recap. So we said bag 1, the Bella Buddy bag is this one. Bag number 2, the Hideaway Pack, okay? Bag number 3, the Stash and Go Mini Tote, this one. Bag number 4, the Skye Mini Barrel Bag, obsessed. And bag number 5, the Scout Mini Satchel, okay? So those are the 5 bags. Great. If you've already signed up for the club, don't just wait until the first day of the calendar date here of when the first video lessons are going to go up, because I'm going to do something a little bit different with this mini bag club. From now until we close it, okay, my bag club right now is $97. Regular price, if you signed up for each one of these classes individually, how we sell them at $37 each, it would run you $185, okay? So always, the lowest price you can get on any of my digital courses or my online clubs is now, like when it first launches, okay? When we close the doors on this, on which day do we have it here? November the 10th, registration closes. So y'all basically have about the next 10 days or so, is that right? Yep. To sign up, okay? From now until that day, I'm going to be going live. I'm going to be sending out emails, tips, tricks. I'm going to be working on some of the bags throughout this week, so that I'll be sharing extra information, sharing with you different things that you can do. So if you watched it today and maybe you don't like this fabric, or maybe you're thinking, I'm not gonna quilt fabric, I don't have quilted or automatically like pre-quilted fabric, stay around. Make sure you follow me on Facebook, on my YouTube channel, and make sure that you head over to craftygemini.com/newsletter so that you can sign up for my email newsletter, because I'm going to be sending out all the information there, and you'll want to be soaking in all the tips, tricks, tutorials, and everything I'm talking about this club. That will get you even more prepared to tackle these projects once the first video course goes live, okay? The way that my clubs work is that the video courses have a scheduled date and time when they are posted to your student account. So if you sign up now, you're not going to see any of these classes there because we don't start yet. We are going to start posting the video courses for bag number 1, which is that Bella Buddy bag, on November 8th. So you basically have from now until November 8th to think about signing up, go through your supply list and start gathering your materials so you have plenty of time before I kick it off with the first video course, okay? And when you log in, you'll see where it says bag number 1 will be posted this date and time. Bag number 2 will be posted this date and time. The calendar has all the information. Everything is super laid out for you. You won't miss out. All right. Oh, Evelyn says, I love it. How do I join this club? Great. So we went ahead in the chat box and put the link for you to sign up. Everything can always be found at craftygemini.com/shop. If you click on the featured item, if it's something that I'm talking about here, under featured is where you're going to see whatever the latest thing is that I'm posting here. Yeah, and let me go back up in here and see. Susan's asking, does it stand up or tip with the phone inside? With the phone inside, it's probably going to tip on one side because remember the pocket is on one side. So if I had something else like a wallet or something here to help balance the weight, then it is likely going to stand up more because see the weight of the phone is on this side. So it's going to flop down, especially because the pocket doesn't go all the way to the bottom, right? So the base is just the base, but the phone ends higher up here. So the weight is completely not distributed evenly, obviously, okay? I don't have my wallet here, but if you had something bulkier there that actually went to the bottom of the bag to help hold it down up more, you know, then you can try and balance that out a little bit more, okay? But just so that you know that it's not a completely flat zip pouch, and you do have a little bit of width room in there because of that panel, okay? But here we're sewing round, so this will be a great step up to go from after bag number 3, sewing a more rectangular bottom. When you get to that one, then you're going to be practicing a little bit of curves, okay? All right, Joe says, I've already signed up. Awesome. Jake and Carl X say, I just signed up. Can't wait. I'm so happy. I can't wait to see the bags y'all are going to make. Thank you. Marina's asking, do you think that you can use clear vinyl to make bag number 2 as a stadium bag? Oh, I know what you're talking about. So let me think. I mean, I don't see why not. Because you could still do the same thing that we do here with these panels and insert your webbing right in there. The only thing I would say is that because of the back pocket, so you know that when we have these pockets that are like this, and apologies that it's black on black, but I wanted it to be hidden and sleek. It's the Hideaway Pack. I got a black zipper that I used here, but the pocket, a little pocket like this, has a pocket bag, right? So this has fabric. So if I were to make it as a stadium bag, those need to be completely clear. I would probably leave off this pocket and just have the back panel be clear and do the front panel be clear. Girl, I think that would be cute. All you're going to see is the stitching of the zipper, and that's it. I don't see why it wouldn't work. We need to do that. And if you do that, definitely post pictures because I know there's going to be a lot more students that are going to want to make that. Really, really cute. The other thing I would say is just make sure that the stadium that you're going into or the game, whatever, you have the specific dimensions because I know in some places, ask me how I know, they need to be smaller than certain dimensions. Like they limit you to what the size can be. So I think as long as you're sticking to those parameters, you should be fine. Yeah. Yay, that would be super cute. What a great idea. See, we work together here. I need to make one like that too. Okay. Carla says, I signed up. Woohoo! Awesome. You're welcome, Marina. Thanks for the great question. Charity says, I'm so excited. She's already signed up and she has the calendar and the supply list printed. I love to hear it. So for those of you that are wondering, here's what it looks like. Sewing supply checklist. And then you have the 2-month calendar. This is going to take you through December the 15th, okay, with different days and times telling you when the bag video course for bags 1 through 5 is going to be posted, as well as the live question and answer chats, okay? My assistant is working on the links for you for the Google Forms that y'all click on to submit your questions ahead of time for the live Q&A chat, so we'll get those up shortly, which is fine. You still have time because you're not going to have any questions on it until you watch the video lessons, right? Or you at least attempt it and try it. Laura says she's all signed up. Let me know if you're signed up. Let's see. Sue says I'm all signed up, and she says I have to go make dinner. Go feed your family, Sue. Sheila says it's so easy to sign up. Great. So the link is in the description box below. And let me see. Cork. Number 4. Okay, so Bevy Ann is asking, could I make number 4 with cork? Number 4 is the barrel tote bag. Absolutely. Yeah, you can. I don't see why not. And it might even, depending on the cork, on the quality of cork that is, it might even, I'm trying to think what you could do, like what stabilizer I would use to give it a little bit more body, but not too much. But with the cork, I think you could still do the foam. You probably just wouldn't quilt through it, but you can baste it along the edges of the individual panels and then just boop, boop, put it all together. But absolutely, I mean, the cork is like the vinyl. It's just that this one is quilted, right? Because the soft vinyl is super soft, but the cork could just be cork. That'd be cool. And another thing that I was thinking about before I made this one, after I made the first prototype, I told my husband, you know, this is a great scrap buster. If you have leftover chunks of cork, faux leather, like stiffer stuff, faux vinyl, you know, like the panels and stuff that we sell, like this kind of faux leather, okay? If you have small chunks like this, think about a color blocked version for just incorporating something different, a pop of color here, a pop of color here for the side panels, and then staying with something sleek and very neutral for the rest. I'm like, what? That would look amazing, and you could use up smaller scraps. This type of non-fraying, stiffer fabric would be amazing for the barrel bag, for sure. Okay, so think about that. Go through your stash. I'm trying to help y'all out, stash busters, okay? Once I was making these, I was like, you know, the bags are not that small, but they're great to use up little bits. Like if you have leftover 10-inch by 10-inch square pieces of quilting fabric, you can literally use it to make this one. I'm just saying. Pam is asking, bag number 3 could work with an inset zipper as well. This one, yes. If you wanted to put in an inset zipper, you could. I haven't worked that part out yet, so you just have to see what you would do with the side seams, or like how far over on the edges you would stop with with that inset zipper, you know, so that you could still have the side seam be free once it's finished like this. But I don't see why it wouldn't work. Absolutely. Okay. Yay, Jane says I'm gonna sign up after this live chat. Awesome, Jane. I can't wait to see your bags. Mary says that bag is so cute. I've just been experimenting with color blocking. Yes, this would be a super cute one to do that in. So stay tuned, because even if you've already signed up, remember, I'm going to be going live throughout this week, spreading the word. So if you have friends that you think you might be able to get them to come on board to sign up for Mini Bag Club number 4, I'm going to be sharing different tips, tricks, bag making stuff, zippers, you know, just chatting about some of the different techniques and things that I'm doing on these bags, to hopefully get some more people signed up and joining us, because I think a lot of it is a mental block that people have. They see this type of a bag and they think, I could never do that. But you absolutely could do it. Which is often what I find with my students, is that they make it and they're just like running around like, I cannot believe I made this. But you have to like at least give yourself the opportunity to take on the challenge, and then I promise you will be surprised, because my videos walk you through every single step. So as long as you don't rush through it and cut corners, or cut too many corners, we can cut corners here and there, but as long as you're not cutting too many corners and trying to fly through it, and give yourself 100% effort shot at making these, if you are a beginner sewist and you can sew straight, you know what a seam allowance is, okay? And you can thread a bobbin, thread your sewing machine, like rewind a bobbin and thread your sewing machine, you can absolutely make these. There's no reason why. Maybe your first one looks a little bit wonky, which is fine, but most of my students, after they make the first one, even if it's a little off, they know, okay, I made a mistake here, here, and here, but I know how to fix them. So on the next one, you can improve in those spots, and that's really the only way to get better. So if you give yourself the shot, sign up, we walk you through every single step by step, every single bag, step by step, I bet you'll surprise yourself. Okay. Dolmarie says, hey, Vanessa, it's been a minute since I've seen you. I placed my order. You know I can't be left behind. Awesome. I'm glad to have you on board. Marilyn's all signed up. Diana's all signed up. Awesome. Oh, Gloria has a great idea. She says, I'm going to do these for a fundraiser at church for our kids. Absolutely. For those of you that are working on like craft shows and different craft bazaars and things like that, I know the bags are going to be getting all the way into December already, but at least the first couple ones that we're making in November, you know that the video courses will be posted by then, you can absolutely be making them, okay? And cranking them out. Make a first one, see how it goes, sort out what you have and everything. And a lot of my students, when they do that, they start cutting up everything ahead of time, assembly line style, and you would be surprised. You can make pretty much like 5 of them in about the same time as it takes you to make 1 or 2 if you have the pieces cut out ahead of time, interfaced, and prepped, ready to go. Okay? Great. Clarice says, I'm signing up at the end of this session. Awesome. I love that. Let's see who else. Bevianne says, I'm signing up. Great. Thank y'all so much. I can't wait to see your bag. Start picking your fabrics. Now, real quickly, I wanted to go through the sewing supply checklist here. This is a master supply checklist that you can download once you sign up for Mini Bag Club 4. Remember, if you're interested, the link is in the description box below. This is the list that you can get inside the club platform, okay? And it's going to have all the stuff. And it looks like a lot, but let's quickly run through it. A lot of the things on here are your basic sewing supplies, okay? So cotton fabric. It's going to be our easiest go-to most of the time. If you're new to buying fabric and you don't know where to go, any of the big box fabric stores, you can go and look under the quilting cotton section. Any of that fabric, you're going to be good to go. Okay, so cotton fabric, cotton woven fusible interfacing. This is the most popular interfacing to use in any type of bag projects. It's just a thin cotton sheet with one scratchy side that has tiny dots of adhesive. Okay, it just feels like a really light muslin fabric. You will find this under the Bozel brand called Fashion Fuse. You can find it under the Pellon brand as SF101 or Shapeflex 101 if you go to like Joann's or whatever. People buy this stuff by the bolt with a coupon because we use it in almost every single bag. Okay, so this is just good to have some of it on hand. I have optional, soft vinyl, faux leather, Chicago screws. This is the fancier stuff. It's all optional. You don't have to use soft vinyl to make the barrel bag. You can make this out of a fun quilting cotton that you like. Same thing, okay? It's just up to you and the look that you're trying to achieve with the finished bag. So that stuff is optional. Foam interfacing. We do use foam interfacing in the barrel bag. This is the only bag that uses the foam interfacing, okay? And that's obviously to give it that structure and the texture that the quilting gives. Foam interfacing is this. You can buy it under the Bianni's brand, soft and stable. You can use Bozel Interform. You could use Pellon, somebody tell me the name, Pellon Flex Foam, I think, something like that. Foam stabilizer, okay? This stuff. Easy peasy. Don't matter the brand, you'll be able to use it. So that's the one that we're using there. Then I have here fusible batting or a fusible fleece. It's up to you. Check your stash. If you bought fusible fleece years ago and maybe you made a Christmas stocking and you still have some left, that's perfect to use because we use fusible fleece or light fusible batting for here, 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 and it's optional on this one, okay? Because you could use other stuff too on this one. So you don't need that much, okay? A lot of times people will ask, well, how many yards do I get? I mean, look at the size of these, right? If you're planning to just make one of each to try it out, you don't need that much. Grab yourself a yard or 2. That's it. Or if it comes in a package, grab 1 pack and try it out. The more you dabble with making items that feature specific interfacings, the more experience you will get and the more you will know. You will see a bag and say, looks like they use fusible fleece in this because it doesn't have too much shape. I would probably use the foam. But that comes with experience. You got to try your hand at making projects. Even if you don't love the project, you're learning techniques, right? And you're leveling up your skills as you make them. And then that experience you carry over to projects that you really want to make that typically are going to be a little more complex, right? The ones that normally would keep you away from it. Because you made another bag with it, now you're like, okay, but I've worked with that before. I think I can try it for this one, okay? Okay, so that's that. Then we have the fold over elastic, which, I mean, I could have put optional here. I just prefer it because it's quick and easy if you have a zigzag machine to bind the seams with it right here. But you could also make bias binding and seal up your raw edges so that it matches the inside fabric, whatever you want to do. We got options. Then I put here assorted number 3 and number 5 zippers. Of course, most of these bags have zippered pockets except for one. So this, I use the number 5 zipper. These guys are little, so we can go on the smaller number 3 craft zippers, okay? And again, there's links to all this stuff. Wherever you see it, there's a link right there that says available here on Amazon. You can click on it, it'll take you there. Even if you don't go to Amazon to buy it, if you click it, then you can see, oh, okay, this is what she means. I think I have these in my stash. And then you go to your stash and pull them out, okay? So those are number 3 zippers. This guy here, I did use a number 5 zipper because since it's narrow for the silhouette, I did want to have a little bit of that extra zipper tape there to give me a little bit more room up top here. But you could make this one with a number 3 zipper, no problem. And then the Hideaway Pack features both. I use the number 5 for the main zipper and a number 3 craft zipper for the little pocket in the back, okay? I put 5 yards of 1-inch webbing. 5 yards is going to give you enough to do all the straps that use webbing, but if you're trying to make your fabric straps out of one fabric and use webbing for one thing or the other, you're obviously going to use less. But this one uses webbing. Bags 2, 5, and 3 use webbing, okay? Wherever you see webbing, you could also just make it out of fabric. So if you want to save cost and you don't want to purchase a new item and you have plenty of fabric, you can make the straps from the fabric, okay? What else do we have? We have the little hardware stuff, and let me pull these out just to kind of show you. Again, I have links to Amazon where you can get these ones, okay? We have one little 1/2-inch lobster clasp, and that's for the little Bella Buddy bag here. This is what allows us to snap it on and off, okay? So we have one D-ring here and one little lobster clasp here. That's it for that one, okay? The other hardwares that we have here are, one, if you want to attach the rectangular rings like I did here to the side of the barrel bag, if you want to turn it into crossbody. If you don't even want to bother with crossbody and you just want to have the cute little quilted pouch like this, then you don't need to have that hardware for there, okay? I went ahead and added Chicago screws here. Do you have to have Chicago screws? No. You could have just left it with the black stitching because these are not held on with just the Chicago screws, okay? I stitched the box around with black thread to secure it, and then I just added the Chicago screw as a little bit of added metallic bling. But it doesn't need to be there functionally. The straps are sewn on, so that works too, okay? So there's ways to either splurge up and add bling, right? Or cut on costs and still have the same functionality and the overall same look of the bag, okay? Let's see. Where am I missing here? Let's see. I clicked the supply list is titled. If it says on top here, as long as it says Crafty Gemini Mini Bag Club number 4, then that's the right one for you, okay? So that's the one that should be in there. What else do we have here? Jane's asking, can you use quilted material when it's on only one side? So the difference between working with a fabric that's fully quilted through 2 layers, you're usually going to have one fabric on the outside, one on the lining, and then the stitching that goes through it all and whatever the batting is on the middle, is that when you sew the pieces together, pretty sides touching, you end up with raw edges because you're not hiding them, right? The fabrics are not separated. They're stitched together. So it would depend the material that you're using that for. So for example, on the Skye Mini Barrel Bag, you could use a fabric that's quilted just on the outside and then through the batting. And you're saying it doesn't have a lining, right? Because that's exactly how I constructed this one. On my long arm machine, when I quilted all these swirls, okay, I did have to load a backing fabric because I just can't quilt into space here. I have to have some type of backing fabric. So my quilted panels have a fabric, like a waist fabric underneath the foam, and then I put the soft vinyl on top and I quilted through it. But it also has a drop-in lining, so this is separate from that. So if I had a quilted fabric that was pre-quilted but with no lining, that's how I would use it here because I still need a lining to finish off the inside of the bag. Does that make sense? Whereas for this one, that wouldn't work because this I don't have it set up to sew a separate lining. Does that make sense? Instead, the lining is part of the main construction and we're just finishing off the raw seams. Okay? All right. Okay. Try to refresh that page because I'm pretty sure we uploaded the latest one. But we'll check it. After the live, I'll just make sure that it's the right one. Okay? Then I had a slider on here. They come in these different put-ups basically. This one has the little middle bar that moves, okay? And this one has a static middle bar, but they're both sliders. And this is just if you want to have your straps be adjustable. So on this one, I have a slider because it's adjustable. So there's my slider. And then on this one, I have a slider as well because it's also adjustable, whether I'm wearing it crossbody or just around my waist, tucked under my shirt, my clothes, to have it be hidden, okay? So that's when you would need that. And that's all for the hardware, really, okay? Then I have the rest, from here down is basic sewing supplies. We have thread. We have basting glue on here or wash away wonder tape. These are kind of more like little crutches for people that don't have too much experience, say like stitching in a zipper and things like that. These are just gonna help you keep everything nice and straight so that then your stitching is straight, okay? But you don't have to have that if you're a more experienced sewist. Thread, rotary cutter, a rotary cutting mat, rulers. These are all basic supplies, so don't think these are all individual things that you have to have. If you sew or you quilt, you probably already have these, okay? They're, you know, continuous. They're not consumables. We use them for a good long time. Rulers, I have thread snips, pins, plastic sewing clips. This kind of stuff will come in very handy. If you don't have any of these, it's worth it to get a little pouch. And again, there is a link on here on where you can get it. Always have some of these on hand, especially when you're working on bags, because we're working with thicker stuff. Whether it's quilted fabric with batting, fusible fleece, foam, it's easier to grab the layers together and keep them steady with the clips versus pins. And then an iron and an ironing board, and then sewing machine needles, size 80-12 and 90-14. That's it. So from here down is all basic sewing supplies, aside from the cotton and stuff. And then I read some of the things were optional. And then the other stuff is just like the required things, you know, like it's a zippered pouch, you need a zipper, things like that, okay? The different interfacings. But batting, light fusible batting and fusible fleece is pretty much going to be interchangeable throughout the projects that you see me feature them in here, okay? The only one that uses the foam is the mini barrel bag. Evelyn is saying, I only have a beginner sewing machine. Will I be able to make these with my machine? And so for those of you that are on my email newsletter, I specifically hit on your point, Evelyn, on your question here in my email. I have worked these out so that you get the same type of a look of these bags, and they were all done. I constructed every single one of these on my little, it's not even a full size Juki. Go ahead and show them the front camera shot because I want them to see that this is just a basic sewing machine. All of them. Aside from the quilting on this, of course, but I mentioned you don't have to have a long arm just to quilt. We can just quilt straight lines. You can even do wavy lines. You can even do free motion quilting if you maybe have dabbled in it before or are feeling extra creative. You could totally do free motion quilting, but I stitched them all up on a regular home sewing machine. And I know that that's tricky to do because a lot of times you see these amazing bags and they're all made with like cork and faux leather and all this kind of fancy stuff. And then you see the machine and you're like, oh yeah, industrial. I don't have one of those. So all of this stuff you can sew on a regular home sewing machine, assuming it's in good working order. And there's not too much bulk that you have to use like a handbag making industrial or semi-industrial machine. So that's part of the way that I teach too. And because I design these bags for my students who are home sewists, most of y'all, I do it on purpose because I know why would I teach you something that you have to have a fancy machine for when I know most people that are watching don't, okay? Okay, great. Okay, good. Thank you, Marilyn. She says, I found the supply list that you're using. Great. Let's see. Robin says, can you use bias tape to finish the inside seams? Yep, I mentioned earlier you can make your own. If you don't want to use fold over elastic, you can absolutely make your own bias binding. Let's see, Bevianne is asking for a good pair of thread snips. I can never find a good pair. We have some in our online shop. I'm not sure if they're sold out or not, but they are these guys. I almost poked myself in the face with it. These guys. If you go to craftygemini.com/shop, just in the search bar at the top right, type in thread snips and you'll see them pop up. Thank you, Nancy. She says, Vanessa always has the best bag making courses all signed up and ready. Yes, I can't wait. Thank you. My little cricket spooky season shirt. Happy Halloween, everybody. My ghosty earrings. You see my decor? I decorated for y'all. It's going to have to come down soon, but just for you. Okay. Joy's asking, do you ever do French seams? Just curious. Thank you. This is a great question. In bag making, I rarely ever do French seams. I do have a bag that we do that in. Is it the 2-hour tote? I think it's the 2-hour tote. One of my other courses that I teach, you can check that one out if you want to check it out. I think the 2-hour tote has French seams. The reason we don't often use French seams is because we have this added layer of interfacing, batting, fusible fleece, foam, and it's way too chunky than just having fabric like you would sew a French seam on a garment or on a pillowcase, where it's just the fabric. You're already getting so many doubled up layers in there, okay? When you add that extra stabilizer interfacing is just way too much usually for a home sewing machine. And then you kind of lose the effect that you're going for to have like a sleek, nice finish. Instead, it's like a big chunky seam bulk there, okay? So that's to answer your question. Laura says, I love your courses. Such nice bags and pouches that are not too complex to make. I love to hear it, Laura. Thank you so, so much. Candy says, I made the 2-hour tote and it's very nice. It's big, isn't it? It's one of those bags where you look at it and you think it's a little bit smaller and then you make it and you're like, whoa, this thing is huge. Let's see. Marianne's asking, what is the little basic Juki run? I think it's up to maybe $400 now. I think they sell it for $400. We don't carry it in the shop anymore. But the model number is the Juki LB5020. So 5020, LB5020. Hi, Claudia. She says she's all signed up. Awesome. Judy's asking, are the bags lined? Yes. Every bag is lined, and the one that is not lined is still lined, but with raw edges left. So we bind the raw edges. So you don't have any raw edges left. Does that make sense? Instead of like a separate lining. Everything else has a separate lining. Okay? With no raw seams, everything is lined. Trust me, I know how much people like their lined stuff, so whenever I make like a quickie pouch or something with faux leather, something that's not lined, that's the first thing I say. Heads up, it ain't lined. So if you need lining, this is not the tutorial for you, but no, all of these guys, let me show it this way. All of them have lined. This one I will say before I forget, because I know a bunch of you are excited. Make sure you have a hand sewing needle and some thread for this one, because it's a drop-in lining so that we get this nice, look at that. Beautiful finish on the inside. You can do it. You can do it. It's only a little bit of hand sewing. Look how little that is. Okay, it's not much. But that way we get a nice drop-in lining where it's nice and smooth on the inside and you don't have a lot of droopy fabric in there, okay? All right, well, great. I'm so happy that so many of you tuned in. A bunch of you have already signed up, so I'm happy to see that too. Start picking out your fabrics, gather up your materials, and like I said, I'll be sending out more emails. If you are signing up and you're not yet on our email list, that is absolutely the best way to stay in tune with everything I have going on. And like I said, from now until we close registration on November 10th, 2024, I will be sending out emails, tips, tricks, going live and doing a bunch of stuff, and we're going to just be focusing on these bags. So if this video didn't help convince you that you can make these bags with my help, hopefully one of the other videos that I'll post this week will help you, because you can totally do it. Regular sewing machine, some pretty basic stuff. If you have a little bit of experience sewing, I think you can totally join us on this new journey and learn to make 5 new bags, okay? Together with some online friends, all right? Thanks everybody for tuning in today to the launch live. Remember, the link is in the description box below. You can also check it out in the caption if you're watching us on Facebook, and I will be in touch soon with another email with some more info. And Crafty Playground is asking how many bags. There are 5. My bag clubs have 5 bags, okay? So you can check out the pictures to the bags in the product description page for when you go to sign up. All the info is there as well. And what else? And the calendar, so you know the dates and times when each of the video courses are going to get posted. So you can download that there as well, okay? Thanks again, everybody, for tuning in. Thanks for the great questions, too. Happy Halloween for those of you that are partying it up tomorrow, and I will see y'all in the next video.